Well, the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to redirect the focus from fixing a new minimum wage to fixing a realistic living wage for Nigerians in its negotiations with the labor unions. They also urged the government to consider further the downward review of electricity tariffs to reduce the suffering of Nigerians.
Note that the implications of payment of 35,000 wage award by the federal government to public servants as one of the ways of cushioning the effect of current economic hardship, including the May 1st pronouncement of percentage increase in salaries of civil servants, has for the time being increased the total amount received by civil servants to 77,000 naira monthly.
Has to look at section 16(2)(d) of Nigerian Constitution. It says that suitable and adequate shelter, suitable and adequate food, reasonable and national minimum living wage shall be provided for the Nigerian worker.
I will urge this House to please, with the speed with which we pass the national anthem, that we should also recall the Minimum Wage Act, reconsider it, and with that same speed, pass that act and ensure that we give the Nigerian worker a living wage in that act.
First is welfare, security. This is what is enshrined in the Constitution. And so I want to align myself with those who are of the opinion that this matter should be resolved as quickly as possible through every other means to ensure that we have a peaceful nation.
And opposition lawmakers are calling on the government to offer more than a monthly minimum wage of 100,000 naira. We're joined now by a member of the House of Representatives in the Labour Party, Etanabene. Thank you very much for joining us on Newsnight.
Thank you for having me.
So, opposition Labour Party has a position on the issue of the minimum wage. You're asking government to, up it above 100,000 naira. Do you have any figures in mind? Have you come up with any figures as a Labour Party? And have you thought about how realistic or sustainable that figure would be?
Sorry, thank you very much. This situation is likened to the way I see it, a married man and with 4 children who gives his wife 10,000 naira to go to the market. Obviously, the wife will be looking at the man, asking what would 10,000, give to me. Suggest. Of course, the man who the wife saw yesterday, drinking Gouda with his friends, will be
drinking beer.
Beer, yes,
right.
Will be reluctant to suggest what 10,000. Of course, he knows 10,000 cannot do anything. So we are in that kind of stalemate. Now, to get on, the man needs to explain to the wife, plead, admitting that he would not spend his money drinking, beer, channel what he has to taking care, of the home, and perhaps ask the wife to please manage until maybe next week I will improve, But to sit down and say, no, what Labour is saying, we will not accept, unless you take what we throw on the table. I think we are not going to have a settlement to the problem, in the near, future.
So in other words, you're saying that there are some excesses on the side of government and even lawmakers that we should look into to cut down and fix this.
There's no gainsaying this fact. I've said it severally, and we all agree that the way we are running government is too expensive. We must adjust, everywhere.
Do you have an idea of what?
There are so many things easy. Look, when you see governors...
Okay, there are many. Let's have a sense of at least 3 of those things for us to adjust.
Let me just give you one clear example. Government shouts every day that they are doing bunkering in this country. Who are those doing bunkering? The same big men in government, in Abuja here. People sell crude more than what the Nigerian government is selling. And we are not even meeting our quota in OPEC. So if we cut down in all these areas, and corruption, to be very sincere, we'll gain a lot of money.
Is there a report that indicates that people sell more than the government? I'm talking about they sell illegally than the government.
See, every day we are talking about bunkering ships that are leaving Nigeria. These ships are not small ships, they're not small vessels, they are very big ones. You know, they are not dropping from the skies. They are going through. If a ship has to leave Nigeria to Asia, it has to go through the down of South Africa. You know, you turn through Saudi Arabia and you go to Asia. So it's not an invisible kind of business. And I have suggested that we can even take this fight to those countries that are buying our illegal, you know, oil. We will get more money. You see, if a husband has more money, they will do more at home. You know, the children will watch. They'll be able to subscribe to DSTV and watch Arise television. You know, they'll be able to get new clothes. You know, so what we have, the problem we have in Nigeria is that Nigeria as a country, we don't have much money, but the individuals are getting richer every day.
Leakages.
Right.
Yes.
So how do you begin to plug those leakages? I'm back to the question of 100,000. You're asking for something more than that.
Sure.
What exactly is that figure? And like I asked, have you considered the impact this is likely to have in terms of sustainability? Because we don't want to come back to Labour insisting government is not even paying us the figure agreed.
You see, the problem with fixing a minimum wage has so much to do with government's program, you know, for its people, social welfare, you know, programs. If as we are today, you know, we're finding it difficult, you know, to go to work because of the high cost of fuel. Government has increased electricity tariff, you know, so people are finding it difficult to you know, do business, small business, you know, with electricity. We don't have schools, you know, like during our time, the school fees was not as high as this. We don't have a very good health system where treatment is subsidized. This is why what Labour is calculating looks high, you know, to people. You don't throw, like I was talking in the floor today.
Yeah, but they've gone
the
past that. They're having this 5-day meeting.
Yes.
Where, of course, the president has given the matching orders to the finance minister to come up with something reasonable,
yes,
acceptable, above the 60,000 that was initially, you know, given or suggested, if you like. We've gone past all of that.
Government can do better.
Moving forward.
No, you were saying
yes.
saying that you were saying something on the floor, because I was going to ask, as a representative of the people, have you spoken about these on the floor, and how was it received by your colleagues?
Severally.
So what happened today?
Today, I was suggesting, you know, that we should not be talking about advising government. We should be suggesting solutions, you know, to this problem. Now, if government is coming with any figure, government should do well to explain to Labour, to Nigerians, the components of that figure. You know, you don't throw minimum wage to say, I give you 30,000, 40,000 or 60,000. Explain, how did you arrive at that 60,000 or thereabout? Now, the Labour will understand where you are coming from, you know, if you are realistic, you know, or not. I think some of all these suggestions are not realistic, you know, at all. If you say you give somebody 60,000, you know, what about house rent?
What's realistic?
I think that government should not do anything less than 150.
And did your colleagues buy in on this?
Well, I think the wave of acceptance, you know, is there. You know, the wave of acceptance is there.
Well, Ben Etanabene, representative in Nigeria's parliament, I'd like to thank you for your time, and we do hope that the conversation continues as you speak on behalf of the people. Many thanks for coming on Newsnight.
Thank you for having me.